Hey traders, John Howell here. We're going to be looking across the whole markets today, guys. Man, this market is crazy right now. Are you guys experiencing the same thing I am right now? Like, these markets are nuts. These markets are crazy. And it's just like, welcome to the jungle, right? That's what I feel like when it comes to these markets. Welcome to the jungle in a good way. I'm going to talk to you about some of my trades, guys, as well too, and the markets as well too, and some other things that I want to share with you. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders. Bit of a few things before I actually get into the technical analysis. First thing, guys, I'm actually running a massive flash sale just for $1. I'm doing this because I've had a really successful financial year. I'm in Australia, so my financial year has just ended. So that johnsflashsale.com, or that very first link in the description there, guys, click on that. Just for $1, I'm actually giving you access to a master trader bundle that I've put together for you just for $1 there. But first thing in the description, guys, go click on that. You can see all the details on that page through there. The second thing I want to say, guys, before I get into the TA, is that when it comes to you and your trading, and this is actually more like you and not just trading but life in general, right? Have you ever noticed that when you try to actively really try to get something, really try to get something, that you end up pushing it away and you end up making mistakes because you're rushing, right? You're rushing. And through doing my boxing training and through doing my training for my next fight, because I've got my next boxing fight coming up soon, and through my boxing training, that's one thing my coach is always trying to tell me: slow down, controlled, right? Because through that, when you slow down, you're controlled, and when you're controlled, you also have power behind you, and timing is good, and all that sort of stuff. And so I just noticed when it comes down to even my trading, right, that my personal trading, whenever I load up big time on a big trade because I'm trying to make a lot of money, right, really quickly, or I'm just rushing it because there's no trades here right now that meets my plan, and so therefore I'm going to take some trades that don't meet my plan, and I'm going to rush and force it. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to rush something, the more you actually push yourself back? I've been trading the markets now for 19 years now. Okay, next year will be 20 years I'll be trading these markets. And it literally, every year for the first 10 years, I was doing that, right? I was rushing. Every time I'd rush, I'd always set myself back, right? And I'd go back into, and it's more like a habitual thing, right? You guys that notice, or you guys been trading the markets for many years, you guys notice, right? Every year you tend to have these same habits that come up, that time and time again, and it's recognizing those habits, like, oh, no. I've been there. I've spent the last 3 years doing that shit. No more, right? Right. So is it just me? Is it everyone, right? So I'm pretty sure we all do that, right? We run all these habitual patterns and it's us to recognize what those patterns are, recognize what we need to change, and then we can keep moving forward in a big way when it comes to that there. So I just want to encourage you guys that the more you try to rush and force this thing, it's an oxymoron, I know, but the slower you go, the faster you go. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron, right? But if you just slow down and just say, you know what, I'm going to allow the trades come to me, I'm going to relax. Because what happens when you're rushing, you're forcing, I've got to trade. Guess what ends up happening? Right, I've got to trade. What ends up happening, right? You do find a trade, but what ends up happening? You actually lose money, right? You end up going backwards. But when you sit back and relax, and wait for some good trades, that's when things say, oh, that was actually quite easy. There was a really good trade there. I got in. I didn't risk too much, and I made some good money, right? And then away we go from there. So, bit of a thing there, guys, at the start of today's video for you. Just when you're trading, guys, the most important thing for you when you're trading, before you even open up the market, is what are you actually looking for in a setup, right? Are you just looking for anything that looks good, or do you actually even know what you're actually looking for in a setup? So that's your number one thing, right? Is like, before you even look at the chart, do you even know what you're actually looking for? That's going to give you an edge in these markets. And if you don't have that, you're just looking for anything. Oh, there's a reversal candle, right? Because I guarantee you, looking at this candle here on the S&P 500, people would have went short here, thinking there's a reversal candle, and then it went up like, oh, I'm in markets rigged, blah 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 blah, right? So, that's the number one thing, right? The number one thing before I even start to look at these charts. Now, what I'm about to do with you guys right now is a bit of a market update, right? Just an update across the whole markets. The thing about that, guys, is that when I'm actually trading the markets, right, I have a certain pattern that I'm really looking for, and that's all I look for, guys. So let's actually go and have a look across the market, see what the market's been doing as of late. And the one thing that has surprised me is how long this move has continued on, right? How long and how much far this thing has continued on from the overall market perspective, okay? And so the big thing that, the really interesting thing is, guys, is that as this market continues on more and more and more and more and more, you start to see this thing start to get to a point of being oversold. The problem with what we're in right now is that we're in a point right now where we just don't know when that point's going to be, right? So we definitely have raced up towards this 4,600 level. The market's on a very, 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 very strong bull move right now. And there's going to come a point in time, guys, when we start to see that pullback or that sideways movement, but what we just don't know when, right? We just don't know when that's going to be and how it's going to and how it's going to form. Is it just going to go sideways for a bit, or are we actually going to get a pullback? That's always the hardest thing about what's happening right now with these markets. And so looking at that, so that's the S&P 500. We do actually have a bit of resistance around that level there, right? When it comes to that level right there. Okay, so this resistance here, and then resistance here as well. So we have all of that through there, all this resistance all through here, as you can see. So the big thing that we can see, right? The big thing we can see here is we see all this resistance all where we are right now. So we're definitely getting a lot of volatility on this hourly chart. You can see big gap up and big gap down and lots of gaps. The market's a bit of a jungle market, right? So welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games, right? And that's where, guys, especially in this market, right? Especially in this market, you need a good trading plan, right? You really need a good trading plan of what you trade. So that's what I'm looking at there from the S&P 500 perspective. Let's go look at the Nasdaq as well too. The Nasdaq actually broke up a little bit higher than that there. We actually got to that level there, didn't we? Look at that point right through there. And then we actually sort of stopped and held through there as well too. So very, 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 very strong bull move out of this level through here. I'm actually surprised about how much this can actually continue on, or how much this has continued on in the markets. And this market is so strong. And so again, we really hit this level of resistance back here on the Nasdaq around that 16,000 level, and we actually held it strong through there as well too. So low, high low, and high low, and now we're just going sideways through here. So we really are developing a massively overextended sort of phase through here. The problem with trying to trade through here, guys, and this is the beauty about the stock market, right? The problem with trying to trade through here. Now, when I say trade through here, I'm talking at the daily charts, all right? I'm talking about like daily charts. But if you're trading like a 2-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or something like that, there's plenty of opportunities with inside the bar, right? But I'm just looking at the actual daily chart itself. So by looking at the daily chart itself, it's very, very, very difficult to try to trade here. And the reason why is because there's always a probability in the markets, right? And unfortunately, what we tend to do is that if we see this move here, right, and we see it continuing up through here, majority of the time, big bull moves like this don't happen majority of the time, right? We get a really good move up and then we get a pullback, a really good move up, we get a pullback. So we're in a really big move here. The problem with trying to trade through here or trying to go long through here is that we just never know when that end is going to happen, right? Or when it's going. We just may now go sideways for the next couple of months, or we may start to continue down. I am on the thesis that we're probably going to see an August, September down month, right? So August and September being a down month in the markets. But that's my thesis. I'd like to see what you guys think in the chat box below. This has gone on, this has continued a lot longer than I originally thought as well too. Moving on now through the Dow Jones. Dow Jones very, 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 very strong. As you can see from the Dow Jones perspective, we actually broke up out, as you can see, we broke up out of this channel, came down, tested it once, tested it twice, and then now we've actually picked back up, and now we're slowly going to the upside. And this is one thing I'm actually noticing, guys, across these stocks through here, right? So a lot of these stocks are what we call winning ugly, right? Like, for example, JP Morgan. I was talking about this with my private clients recently, and I was talking to them about this, is look at this here, right? So look at this here. I call this, a lot of these stocks are winning ugly. Now, what does that mean? Winning ugly. Winning ugly simply means we have these points through here, right? Low, high, low. We have this, see how these small bars and small bars and small bars, and it just starts to slowly break out like JP Morgan is doing right now, right? So a big up, big down. Yeah, I'm just looking at the pattern through here, and then you can see where it's actually ran to, which is that next resistance level through there as well too, right? So that's obviously the big thing that I'm noticing through there, is that a lot of these stocks are just slowly winning ugly in these markets here. You just, guys, please, I'm just really thinking about this environment that we're in right now. Do not be loading up. Do not be jumping all over the place. This market is going to destroy you, right? Because we never know. If you think the market's just going to continue up from here, you know, we never know exactly what's going to come around the corner. So just always continue to be smart about what you're actually doing from there. Let's go look at the Russell as well too. And the Russell just been in a no man's land, really. Look at this here. No man's land Russell. No man's land Russell. Look at this here. Just sideways movement. Not really much going on there when it comes to the Russell. Yeah, we're starting to get some sort of a trend here in place. Low, higher low, and higher low. Let's actually go to the 15-minute chart here. And as you can see, this is the beauty about trading 15-minute charts or even 2-minute charts, right? Is that you can start to get some really good trading opportunities within these 2-minute time frames here, which I think is quite awesome if you do trade the intraday charts from there. So that's actually what I'm seeing through there, guys. From that perspective there. Let's go look at the oil market, and the oil market very, 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 very strong through here. This is something that I'm noticing more and more and more as I go along, actually, guys. This is something here. Check this out, right? So we have this point coming down from there to there, right? So we have this oil. See how this is squeezing up like a descending triangle pattern? I'm noticing so many times that these descending triangle patterns either do this where it actually breaks to the upside. Ford did this recently as well too. There's another one out there just recently that did it as well, right? So there's a lot of markets that when we get these descending triangle patterns are actually a lot of them are actually breaking to the upside. So just always be careful of. Always be alert that just because there is a descending triangle pattern does not mean it's going to break down. And obviously if there's an ascending triangle pattern, meaning it's going up where you got this sort of pattern happening, it doesn't mean it's going to break out. Now JP Morgan did. JP Morgan actually had that and it broke out, and it continued to the upside. So that's what's happening with oil. I did do a video last week on oil saying that oil is about to make a big move. I just don't know where. And so looking at this level through here, as you can see, low, lower, high, and then now we're getting through this point all through here right now. As you can see, right, all through here is we're getting a point now with oil, and we're having this really nice move to the upside. So to me, oil looks like it's about to start to see some really strong moves. This move to the upside may be the start of something, but there's no one really in control of oil right now, right? So we're seeing again, we get low, lower, high, low, high. We're not ready to make a big move. If oil is going to make a big move, we're not ready yet. Okay, we're not ready yet. And the reason why I say we're not ready yet is that generally what we need to see, right, is probably a sort of a higher low in place, right? So if we have this low, we have a higher low, and then we get something like that, right? So that's what we're looking for there on that point through there. Let's go look at the gold market as well. So the gold market, as you can see, really holding nicely through here, as you can see, and so is silver as well too. I believe we're just this little pullback we're getting right now out of these silver and gold. Again, this is the gold market here. I believe gold's going to hold here, which is actually quite nice. Look at this here, beautiful, beautiful pullback up and then now down. Once gold starts to break out through there, we're probably going to see a big move out of this one here. So more like this actually could be like a reverse head and shoulder formation, right? Reversed head and shoulder formation. This could be like something through there. And then we actually break up and then we could be getting going through there. So that's actually what we're seeing through there from the gold market. And then also this is the silver market as well too. Move up. This is exactly what's expected, guys. And this is, guys, this is why it's important to understand not looking at the candlesticks, right, but more looking at the flow of the market. Down, up, down, strong move up, and then now down. Now, what is this down? What is this down bit through here? This down bit here is probably going to be a pullback. Now, what is a pullback? When someone says pullback, what does that actually mean? If you look at an upward trend, right, you have up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback, right, and then up. So it's these bits through here that are pullbacks. Down, pullback, down, pullback, down, pullback, right? So they're just what we call pullbacks. Pullbacks are against trends. So if this is just going to be a pullback, guess what we're going to get? We're probably going to get something like that. Make sense? So that's what I wanted to share with you there, guys. Let's just go quickly look at the, say, TMF market and so on and so forth. We are still continuing down here really strongly. We did roll over through here. I was waiting to see if it is going to break up to TMF, but we didn't. We actually just rolled over. So this is actually now looking quite weak through here. It didn't actually hold that level, and now we're continuing to see a rollover. So we may actually have more higher interest rates coming in the short term, especially when it comes to the long-term markets. We're getting still a lot of bullishness out of these markets through here, guys. But a lot of stocks through here, like let's have a look at Apple. Apple, guys, is just absolutely just crazy through here. Not so much Tesla. Tesla actually had a really, really big pullback. We had Netflix as well too. Netflix is now getting a really strong pullback out of that through there. Microsoft, I believe, is starting to what we call roll over. Look at this through here, right? So we actually had this move up, down, up, 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 up. So now it's actually, see how it's actually doing that sort of pattern? That's cool. So I call it like a roller coaster pattern, right? So it goes up, 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 and then it just does something like that, right? So the roller coaster pattern through there. Let's look at Adobe as well too. Adobe is really, really, really strong. Look where Adobe is. Like, look at this here, boom, out of a gate through there. So that's what Adobe is doing through there right now. Let's just go look at Nvidia. Nvidia is once again really, really, really strong. I'm surprised how strong Nvidia actually still is right now. And also Meta as well too. Meta is just one of those markets that's just like, when you look at this thing, you're just like, this is just crazy. This is crazy. This whole market here is now just on massive euphoria. And the problem with the massive euphoria, guys, is that the bigger these things just keep moving, the bigger the burst is going to happen.